Andrea Greenhous is the founder of Vision to Voice, a Canadian strategic internal communications agency. Andrea and her team help clients build their brand from the inside out with purpose and deliver an awesome employee experience. Andrea believes in the people first approach and uses fresh ideas and a unique internal communication framework to deliver bottom line results. A certified change management professional, Andrea believes that building resilient organizations starts with ensuring employees are informed, involved, and inspired. And I couldn't agree more, especially now during these times where things are shifting so much, and you're dealing with all of these changes and pivots, and things are being altered kind of on a daily basis within organizations. So you're more needed than ever at the moment.
Yes.
So very much looking forward to your chat. So thanks for being here. If anyone has any questions, I guess they can put them in the chat, and I'll be back, or one of my colleagues will be back just to come on and kind of help you with questions and do a wrap up for you. So again, thank you for being here. This is going to be a much needed presentation, so I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rachel. And hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Andrea, and the intro has already been done. This is a much more hands-on topic, and hopefully a timely one as well than the last topic. Actually, it links in quite well with what I'm talking about in terms of the employee experience and the role of HR and change. So a little over a year ago, I don't have to tell you, we all, if we could, we packed up our computers, our stuff at our desks, and we went home and we started working at our kitchen tables. But not everybody did. Some organizations had employees working in grocery stores, working as bank employees or whatever, that had to continue working, but they had to work in a different way. They had to work in a way that would keep them safe and healthy. And so that was a significant shift. And at the very beginning, what most organizations found was that a lot of people were pretty happy at home, and productivity stayed fairly much the same. In fact, some organizations found that productivity increased. Today, we're all suffering from a little bit or maybe a lot of COVID-19 fatigue. And a lot of us are looking forward to getting back to normal. But what does that look like for your organization? And today I'm going to be talking about what organizations need to be thinking about in terms of getting back to work or getting back to the office. Everybody's been working. You're getting back to the office. What to do, how to do it, and how to do it well, so that everyone is set up for success in the future. And I believe that COVID-19 has provided us with a great opportunity to rethink not just where we work, but how we work and what the purpose of an office really is. Oh, I need to figure out how to move my video. Or move my presentation. I think I had this problem last time. Anyways, okay, so my presentation isn't moving. Okay, that's too bad. So I'm going to walk you through the 8 steps that we've been using with our clients in terms of planning your future after COVID-19, and also how to plan to in the interim in terms of bringing people back to work safely. So the first thing that we recommend you do is really understand how your employees are feeling and what they're thinking. So I know a lot of organizations aren't big on surveys. They talk about survey fatigue, but in my view, that is just not valid. What's really important is understanding what your employees are thinking and how they're feeling. And what we found with surveys is that we get some surprises. We think one area is going to be concerned, and in fact, it's a whole different thing that people are worried about. Even the act of surveying people, we get responses like, thank you for asking how I'm feeling. It shows that you care about me. So what we've been doing is quick surveys, 5 to 10 questions. What do you think about going to back to work? Are you sure, unsure, or you want to get back? And like most of the studies that are going on right now in terms of how people are feeling about going back to work, there is a complete split. You've got some people who want to stay at home forever wearing their bunny slippers. You've got some people who are just dying to get back to work, where home is not a comfortable place to work. They don't have the technology. They don't have the comfortable seat. Their kids are running around, whatever it is. It's not a comfortable place. And then you've got people who want a mix. They want to be able to work from home some days, and they want to be back in the office, mixing and mingling with coworkers and meeting people in person. You've also got a range of feelings around and fears around returning to the office. Some people are not concerned about getting sick, and others are extremely fearful. So that is important to understand, that everybody is. Oh, I see a question from Claudia. I'll get to that question at the end, or I'll address it. So you've got these people who feel that they want a mix of both. And you've got people who are very afraid of going back to work and people who aren't. So the next thing that you need to do is communicate early and often. And it was interesting. I was in a networking session with someone. She said, well, I think we communicated, but sometimes we communicated the wrong thing, or we had to change what we said. That is okay. One of the worst things about this pandemic has been uncertainty. And one of the things that employees want, and survey and study after study have shown this, employees want to hear from you. So communicating at least weekly what you're doing, what you're thinking, even if you do not have all the answers, is extremely important. Man, I wish my presentation was working. Not that I need it, but it would just be so much better. Okay. So that's number 2. So communicating, even if you don't have all of the answers. The next thing is to make sure that your decisions are aligned with the purpose of your organization and your values. That really sounds common sense, but you'd be surprised at how often organizations forget about this. There was a wonderful article in the Globe and Mail I shared on Friday on LinkedIn about Maple Leaf Foods. They have taken a radical transparency approach to communicating with their employees about safety in their plants. And one of the things that they rooted all of that in their values, but they've also reminded people why they're showing up to work every day, and that is to feed people. Every sign is a reminder of why people are there. So reminding people what their purpose is, linking it to your values is incredibly important when you're communicating with people. The step number 4 is involving people. We talked about change in the last session. Change is so much easier when people are involved in the change and when change is happening with you, not to you. So harnessing all those ideas, understanding how people are feeling, getting that buy-in, getting those great ideas, the innovation from people is key. And often, communication is seen as a newsletter and an email, and it's not viewed as a conversation. And so making sure that you get feedback from people and you harness those ideas and involve people in the change is critical. Step 5, ask people if they feel, what makes them feel unsafe. In our surveys, as I mentioned at the beginning, we thought, ventilation would be an issue for one organization. It turned out it was something completely different. So when we developed the materials in terms of planning back to work and guidelines and protocols and everything, we were able to focus on what people were worried about. And a lot is going to change between now and when we get back to work. We don't have guidance on whether or not we need to wear a mask when we have a vaccine. We don't have, we don't know, there's a lot of things we don't know. Just like at the very beginning of the pandemic, they said, don't wear a mask. Then it was just wear any mask. And then it was, you got to have 3 layers. So things are going to change. And remember that that's okay. But understanding what people are worried about and keeping your finger on the pulse of that is very important, and addressing those concerns and communicating in a human way. A lot of communication happens, a lot of corporate communication to employees sounds like you're talking to robots. It's full of jargon. The tone is very businesslike and professional. No, we're talking to humans who have hearts and who have families and who have worries. We need to communicate with them in a voice that's caring, that shows empathy, that's real and human. So that is critical. And with my clients, even just changing the tone has an incredible impact on how people receive the communication and how trust is built and respect is built. Next, ask people what makes them thrive. And here I'm going to get into kind of the different flavors of people who are, some people are unhappy at home, some people are incredibly happy, and some people want to mix. So just like Netflix delivers personalized content for me based on my needs, organizations are going to have to start delivering a personalized work experience, including a personalized approach to where that person works. So studies are showing now that most people thrived when they went back to work, workplace does, and in-person work does have a role in 3 areas. This is the latest studies. The first one is to create a human experience. The second one is for informal learning and mentoring. And the third is for collaboration, and working together is much more effective when you're together. So considering that, developing a personalized approach, or at least a flexible approach to returning to the office. So Claudia asked, do you believe some organizations will continue with remote work? Even organizations that have said digital first, like Shopify, they're keeping offices, and their office will have a role. And that role will be the culture keeper. It'll be the schoolhouse. It'll be the social area, and the workplace will be a destination. So, but making sure that people are equipped to thrive, understanding what they need to succeed at their jobs will be critical, whether it's at home in their bunny slippers or whether it's in the office or some kind of combination. The next piece, I'm almost done with my 8 steps. This is number 7. You need to identify what mindsets and behaviors you want. So when we shift back first to working together again, probably with masks, with some people vaccinated, with COVID not completely gone, what mindsets and behaviors do you want people to feel safe? You want them to follow the rules. So understanding how you need to shift where they're at now to where they need to be when they're in the office. And then moving forward, after hopefully COVID is completely gone, what mindsets and behaviors do we need to work in a hybrid environment or an all remote environment? I see Christian is asking for a copy of my slide presentation. I will have that, and I've also written a blog. You can get it on my website. I'll leave my website address, and so the latest blog is kind of my 8-step program. And if you sign up for my newsletter, I've also got a case study coming out tomorrow for how we tackled this problem for one organization. So just one more point about what mindsets and behaviors. Before the pandemic, I worked with lots of organizations who had a headquarters, and then you had satellite offices. Sometimes they were around the world. Sometimes I worked with the Canadian military. They were military bases. And there was different cultures in each office, and there was have and have not communities. So people in the headquarters had certain privileges, and certain meetings were at their time and their time zone. And it created this idea that if you're in head office, then you were more important. And even some organizations where there was flexible work, but you really need to be present to sort of show up for meetings. Like there was an important meeting, you need to be in the office. So we need to shift our mindset to how are we going to treat people who are working remotely versus people who are in the office? How are they going to work together? How are we going to ensure that culture of respect and understanding? The last thing that we need to do, and this is the thing that everybody forgets to do or says, oh, we don't need it, is, and this is the last piece of change management theory, is the reinforcement and the celebration. So we're never going to get everything right the first time. We may decide that, oh, we're going to work remotely, and then it just doesn't work. So you have to readjust. So there's going to be a period where you need to get feedback from your employees, understand what's working and what's not, and adjust accordingly, and communicate and keep people in the loop, but also listen and find out what's not working for people. And the second thing is, let's celebrate. This is a moment that matters. And this is part of the employee experience, going to be going back to work or getting back to normal. So if you're working through that change, let's celebrate. Let's bring back people back to work and be happy that we're back to normal, and celebrate the progress that you've made as an organization. And that's really key in anchoring in those behaviors and making them stick. And that's all. So I see we have some questions. So Paula says, during meetings, do you have a view on whether you should have videos on? Video is a powerful tool for, I don't know if you're talking about individual meetings, but yeah, I think that's important. It can be exhausting. So one of the things I feel is important is setting guidelines and boundaries and communicating that clearly. So meetings, are you expected to have your camera on? Some meetings are not on. If people are suffering from Zoom fatigue, then maybe there's the odd meeting that you just do by phone. So again, listening to your employees, adjusting, and setting boundaries and guidelines. So there's not some kind of dog's breakfast or a patchwork of policies and programs and ways of working. Helen is asking, our business is an essential service, manufacturing, yeah. So we've been working the whole time, thank you. We had to do things on the fly. What tips? Okay, so Helen, I really urge you to look up that article on my LinkedIn about Maple Leaf Foods. So even though you're still working, I would still communicate often. I would still be listening to your employees to find out how they're feeling. How stressed are they? Do they feel safe? What else can you do to make them feel safe? How can you acknowledge their contribution through the pandemic? All of those things would be so important. Obviously, my business is communications, and but you know, it gets communications gets discounted so many times, but it's so important to have that connection, to let people feel heard, and also to build that understanding. And again, Helen, that whole idea about anchoring your communication in purpose. Why are they there? Why are they important? Why do they still have to work? It's critical. So like looking at your messaging, making sure it's human and caring, and acknowledging the people that are showing up to work every day. I hope that helps, Helen. Are there any more questions? We've got a few minutes. Anybody else who's planning on returning to work? Or sorry, I keep saying that and it's a big no-no. Who's planning a return to the office or some semblance of change when people have been vaccinated? Anyone? Yeah, okay. So Paula says they have a mixed team, some in our office and some others remote. And that's really the reality that most organizations are facing, that there are some people who are working on the front lines. And that again is a little bit of something that you have to navigate carefully. So I have a mastermind group, and one of the major banks is in my mastermind group. And what they're finding is their employees who are working at home, their mental health is pretty good. They're managing their workload okay. But it's the people in the branches that are really suffering. They're stressed. They're having to deal with the public all the time. So it's created a real divide in the organization. And that's something that they're working on addressing and acknowledging. But they've surveyed their employees so they understand this. If you're not surveying, if you're not using your managers to have those conversations with their teams, then you don't know what's going on, and you could do completely the wrong thing. Daisy and Christian say they're all remote currently and will eventually go back. So who likes working remotely and who's dying to go back to work or back to the office? Anybody? It's a strange, Paula prefers a mix. Helen prefers a mix. Caitlin loves working from home. Zach prefers being at home, hybrid, remote, but miss being side by side. Yeah, and that's basically what most people are finding. Oh, and another vote for a mix. Yeah. Yeah, so Alexandra said she worked in a care home, very stressful. So yeah, and one of the things is acknowledging people's stress, and we've all had really different experiences in the pandemic. Some people have had some great silver lining. Some people have some great experiences where other people have been miserable. So understanding that everybody is coming back with a different bit of baggage, COVID baggage, I've been calling it. And some of it's really sucked, and some of it has been fantastic. So understanding that everybody has a different experience, I really feel that the pandemic has been a big leveler, and it's forced organizations to understand that there's a human behind the person that comes to work. And that human has kids. They have a dog that barks and needs to be walked. It's really forced us to, I think it should force leaders and human resource leaders in particular to understand that there is a whole person that you're dealing with, and that should be a shift in the mindset and approach. And what does that person need to thrive? I think we only have a minute left. So does anybody have any other questions? No. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to stick my website in the chat. and feel free to visit me, connect with me on LinkedIn. I can't type. Yeah, because I'm doing a lot of work in this area, and I'm happy to share all of my experience and my feeling about what the right thing to do is.
Hi, Andrea. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hi, Alex.
Hi. I just wanted to come on and say thanks to your presentation. It was really great, really insightful information. I see that you put your website and stuff, or yeah, your website in chat there. Do you maybe want to put your LinkedIn as well, just in case anyone wants to connect with you?
Yeah, I will. I
Awesome.
don't really.
And just to let everyone know, so that is the final session for today, and then we have our panel starting at 3:30, so about 10 minutes from now. So in the meantime, feel free to go visit the networking area and make some connections, check out the expo, or just chat with people in the chat as well. But yeah, Andrea, I just want to say thanks again for speaking. I know you spoke in the past a few months ago, and it's always great to have you.
Yeah, and you know what? My slides didn't work again. So is there, people have asked for them? So is there a way?
Were they not like going through the slides or something like that?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh.
Scroll.
Okay. Yeah, if you'd like, you can send me a copy of the slides, and if anyone who attended.
Yeah, and I think my LinkedIn is in my profile.
Yeah, I believe so. If anyone in the chat isn't sure what she means by that, so if you just click on Andrea's name there in the chat, and then it should pop up an option to view her profile. So you just click that, social media links and stuff like that there.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks again. Sorry about the slides. That's really weird.
That's okay. We'll figure it out.
If anyone wants a copy of the slides, just email me or Andrea. I can pass your information to her, or obviously she can send them to you directly as well. Thanks again, Andrea.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.